Hey everyone, I'm James Conrad. I'm here with my girlfriend Jordan Kim. This is our 4th year together on the road. We spent the last 3 seasons touring out of a Ford Transit van. I did that conversion myself and it was a great home for us on the road. We had a little running joke that people would be like, oh, you guys make it work. And
whatever that means.
We kind of loved it, but after a while, 3 years full time with 2 people in a van was feeling a bit small, so we decided we wanted something bigger, and we felt like a schoolie type conversion was going to be our best bet. And last year I was kind of scouring the internet trying to find the right bus, trying to find the right rig, and we ended up coming across this F650 shuttle bus. This thing's about 36 feet bumper to bumper, so it's a pretty large vehicle, but that gave us a huge cabin. We got 25 feet by 8 feet of space inside to work with. And yeah, I'm stoked to show you guys my rig today. One of the reasons we ended up picking this specific bus was it's got a full cab. So we got like a co-pilot seat up front. A lot of the shuttle buses that we were looking into, the stairway and like the door that actually kind of opens is right there where the passenger seat would normally be. And with how many long drives we ended up taking, we were really looking for something with this full-size cab. And then like when we're parked, the cab doesn't even feel like it's here anymore, which is awesome. We can get in and out this side door, and we got like a little lock we can lock here or unlock to open. So super handy there. We actually hired a crew to do the conversion for us. We pretty much had 3 months to try to get it bought and built. We found a crew down in Austin, Texas called Chewy Design Co. It ended up just working out perfect with the timing wise, and we're super stoked on the work that they were able to knock out for us, so make sure you check them out. They pretty much did all this woodwork. They did pretty much the whole conversion for us. We've already added quite a few of the home touches, like just getting blinds and curtains in was like one of our first main projects. It doesn't feel like you're in a vehicle when you're looking at this window to me, so that's super cool. It just kind of feels like an actual house window or something. Being able to have some curtains, have some blinds, and then have some of the windows that open. Puka's especially fond of the open windows. Hi, Puka. This shelf is actually one of the few things in the van that I actually built myself. Like I mentioned, the project was a big project in a pretty short window of time, so there were certain areas that maybe didn't quite get as finished as they could have, and this whole kind of front area was left pretty open, which we've honestly been digging. Like it kind of makes it so there's room to have like a handful of people in here comfortably. Like it's not like the whole thing's like a tight little alley you have to walk through, but we definitely felt like we were missing some storage, and so I was able to build and install this shelf a few weeks ago. We've got a whole bunch of jars up here. Jordan is maybe a little bit of a jar addict, but that's okay. She's actually convinced me that a jar can be a cute thing. I don't think I ever knew that before, but I'll be like, wow, that's a cute little jar. So thank you for that. So as we come into the van, like I said, we have some empty space here, and then one of the things I was super excited about was to have kind of like a couch lounge area. We wanted somewhere super comfy to where we could hang out with just us, or like a little bit of a living room area where we could invite a few friends over and maybe have dinner together, just hang out, maybe even play a board game. I think it worked out pretty great with the guys over at Chewy Design. We basically gave them a rough layout idea as far as like what we wanted, like some of the key features we wanted in the bus, and then we kind of gave them an idea for a color scheme. Like we definitely wanted kind of earthy colors, and we took a color palette, like if you grabbed a handful of trail mix, that's kind of what we wanted our color palette of the bus to look like. I think they kind of nailed it. They went with this butcher block in a lot of the places, like a lot of the flat surfaces are this nice dark butcher block. And then we got like the lighter wood on all the walls. Storage is super important in a vehicle. And we don't have like a lot of closet space or anything like that compared to a house, so all these benches can kind of lift up and access a whole bunch of storage. And then this table can kind of swivel around, or it can actually be removed and kind of drop into place here and fits perfectly as like just a little guest bed. We've actually been able to have a couple friends stay the night already if they were just in town hanging. I think it's really comfy and definitely able to kind of lean back and lounge, and that's definitely something that I was missing living in the van. You know, we'd have...
And not in bed.
Yeah, pretty much in the van, the only way to really like relax was to be in bed, and it's just a different feeling. Like actually like getting into bed feels kind of different than just like hanging out on the couch. So this was one of the key features that we were really excited for. And another cool thing we've done is this is just a little magnet right up here, but I got a little projector mount that can click right onto that magnet, and we have a makeshift screen now, but we got a pull down screen that will mount under that shelf, so we can have like movie night, or I can play a few video games on the projector, hanging out in the living room in the house, in the bus. So stoked on that. So moving out of the kind of living room space to the van, next is the kitchen, and this is another huge one for both of us. You know, something that we were super excited about moving into a bigger space was to be able to have a little bit more of a workable kitchen. Jordan is miraculous. She does amazing work. Like even just out of the van, she can cook such good food, and so we definitely wanted a good setup where it was one, easy to make good food, and two, also easy to clean up after a big meal, because part of making good food, I've learned, is that a lot of dishes get made. So we definitely wanted a big sink. When we first saw the work on the conversion, they actually had like a little 12 by 12 sink, and we were pretty much like right away like, I think we might need to drop a bigger sink in that bad boy. But this thing is, I think, closer to like 20, maybe 14 by 20. So pretty good sized sink, and we had like a little foot pump in the van. So that was a good way to like conserve water, because not too much water would come out with each pump, but super nice to be able to just turn on the water. And underneath, this is like the switch for the water pump. We usually just leave that on. And this is actually a little hot water switch, so we can get hot water out of our sink or our outdoor shower, and that just feels like such a luxury to us after living in a van for 4 years, you know? Hot water like out of the sink. Are you kidding? And then on this side of the kitchen, we have a nice big countertop. We have an induction stove. I feel like we're still getting a little bit used to the induction stove, but it's super nice, especially when we're plugged into shore power and we kind of have unlimited power. This thing's sweet. Yeah, still loving this butcher block in the countertop. We love this like kind of a sage green color, and all these custom, they're kind of like a marine kind of a latch for like boats. So it auto latches and it's super easy to open, and they'll stay open for us. We got bread, cans of stuff up here. Peanut butter. I love peanut butter. This is kind of like our oatmeal central. We've been making a lot of oatmeal for breakfast, and you got to get out the pumpkin seeds, you got to get out the nuts, you got to get out the raisins. You know, that's how you make oatmeal really good. I learned that. If you put enough stuff in there, it turns delicious. Back in the van, we kind of had a little thing on the wall where the silverware was just kind of on the wall, and it made it super easy. Like, so we didn't end up going with a silverware drawer. We did have a coffee drawer. I'm definitely a coffee person, so we got like our ground coffee in here. We got some whole beans here. Jordan drinks a lot of tea, so we got a pretty good variety of tea in here. This is a really nice smelling drawer. This one's pretty huge, having trash and recycling. We're kind of full right now, but that's how it goes. But it's nice to actually have a good spot for the trash. I feel like a lot of times that's like not necessarily thought of ahead of the time, like just how much trash tends to accumulate. So having a good spot that can kind of get tucked away and not be too smelly is awesome. Tons of drawer space, pots and pans down here, big old cast iron. Puka knows what's in this drawer, in this cabinet. Maybe she gets a little treat. Puka's dinner time is 9:30, so it's not even close, Puka. Jordan learned that if Puka has an early dinner time, then she's trying to wake us up by like 5, 6 a.m. So if we can push her dinner time to like 9:30 or 10, a lot of times we can sleep until like 8 or something before she's like putting her nose right on your eyelid or anything like that. Good girl, Puka. One of the things we were most excited for was a bigger fridge. This is more of like a standard kind of refrigerator. We had kind of like a chest freezer refrigerator type thing back in the van, so being able to actually have a fridge that opens this way, and then a nice size freezer as well. It's just been super nice. We can load up on way more groceries. It's way easier to last like a week without going to the store. And also just having like some Trader Joe's mochi on hand, not a bad thing. I did it the other day for the first time, but I pulled a frozen pizza out of the freezer, boom, straight into the toaster oven, had a hot pizza in like 15 minutes in my bus. It was unbelievable. Now we're flipping around and y'all are kind of in the front of the bus. I'm more towards the back. I wanted to show off a couple of cool things that the Chewy Design Co. were able to work into the build. They come up with some awesome stuff, like these like accent pieces, the way that they're able to char this wood, I think it just really pops and really just adds a really cool finishing touch. They got some here, up above the door. The way they're able to do this kind of herringbone pattern, I think they call it fishbone or herringbone, something like that, with the diagonal planks of wood on the door. It looks super sweet to me. We're able to get some cool little like cubbies down here. It's kind of like just some of the little touches, like having the outlet that can kind of hide. Super impressed with some of the smaller details they did. And yeah, moving on back. Also, it's been blowing us away that we actually have a bedroom. Like in the van, being in the van was pretty much being in our bedroom. And here we got like a whole living space, a whole kitchen, and then you can kind of open the doors. We got a bedroom. So obviously not a ton of room. We are still in a bus, but being able to like close the door, and if Jordan's in the living room having a couple friends over, having some tea or whatever, and I'm trying to get changed, it's like boom, just shut the door. No worries. It's not like, hey, can you guys step out real quick? I gotta change. None of that. And it's super nice to be able to do that. It's also super nice to have a little bit of actual closet space. Never had any way to like hang up shirts before. I can kind of like pick which polo I want, and actually like looking at them all, not digging through a drawer. Jordan's got a lot of her coats and stuff hung up. We each have our own drawer with like socks, underwear, that kind of stuff. Down here, we have the litter box. Obviously we need that. We actually have like a composting toilet down there that can slide out. I'm not gonna lie, Jordan and I have both been a little scared to actually try that thing yet, so still very clean and very fresh, and might not always be that way, but it is for now. We were super stoked to be able to fit a king size bed in here, and this thing's so wide. It's like 8 feet wide on the inside, which is wild. Vans are only about 6 feet wide, so that 2 feet just feels so huge. Actually have room to like kind of step around the bed a little bit. It helps for making the bed, and this big old box is our electrical setup. So we've got a pretty thorough electrical setup. We can be on grid, like we can be plugged into shore power at an actual campsite, but we also have pretty good power capabilities when we're unplugged. So we have 800 watts of solar on the roof. We got 600 amp hours of lithium batteries in there, and yeah, the inverter, the charger, all that good stuff's in here. I think that kind of covers it for the basics of our bus build, and yeah, hope you guys are digging the new rig. I know we're definitely loving it. It just feels so spacious. Like, it seriously, sometimes I'm sitting in here, we have all the blinds down, and you almost forget you're in a vehicle. It just feels like we're in like a little cabin and something like that, but we might just be in a Walmart parking lot, or we might be at a nice campground right by a lake. But it's been super special to me to be able to make this home space with Jordan, and stoked to be able to share it with you guys as well.